Get ready for our next series. What a guy, Jenkins right there talking about Meech. It's awesome to hear the story of like expectations really not having any compared to what happened and how things have worked out for them.
Yeah, it has been. And honestly, it's like not too surprising, I think, for a lot of us who are watching Meech that you would end up doing well. It's even funny that Jenkins didn't expect him didn't really know anything about him, didn't
Hmm.
have any expectations. It's like, huh, this Meech guy's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, comparing him to Yon, too, is high praise. Like, to
Yeah.
say he
Yeah.
didn't have that much expectations for Yon when Yon first came in, and then was surprised, saying Meech is very similar, where he didn't expect much and has been surprising him.
Yeah.
Plus, it's also nice to get a pentakill, give it over to your marksman,
True.
make him feel really good.
Mhm.
And interesting fact, I just heard this from our producer Kelsey that apparently Meech was helping out Winston with AoE's prep against Golden Guardian. So it's cool
Yeah.
that even though I know the last call there with the pentakill magical, against his old org, he's besting them. It's cool that he's still helping them out, right? Yeah, I mean, it's still having that camaraderie
Right.
and kind of reaching across the table there. Even though he's moved on to Academy,
So
now
close
he's
with
still
them.
helping out
Yeah, so
some
close
of the
with
old
them.
players. Yeah. Course. It's wholesome. I love that kind of story. But with that said, that is, of course, CLG Academy advancing forward in the bracket. And AoE dropping down in an 0-2 fashion. Rip Beatdown's prediction
It can still happen.
is
It can still happen.
crazy IQ play of how the bracket's going to play out. It is still possible for Amateur to get those wins, but Magicals might be looking a little closer. Let's see how you could potentially get some more wins with this next match. We have more Immortals Academy versus 100 Thieves next. This one is exciting because when we looked at CLG Academy AoE, most folks were leaning CLG's way. This matchup, I'm surprised, Beatdown, that most people are leaning 100 Thieves next. When I've just been talking to people behind the scenes, everyone's like, oh yeah, I think 100 Thieves next actually take this.
No, it's really not that surprising. I think with 100 Thieves, even though they lost the previous PGCQ, the qualifying final to Taco Gaming, I think overall, when you look at all year and what this team has been able to do and the consistency they've shown and the high level as well, it's not too surprising that they can beat Immortals. It's just not surprising that the consensus is that they will beat Immortals Progressive, who have been struggling towards the end of Academy Summer, and especially in this particular tournament here. So that's why, I mean, you have players like Sniper, Fnatic, a lot of this, the top side of this map are all in the conversation for best in amateur, and it really shows in how they play.
Yeah, and I mean, that it is a good thing to kind of look at these new upcoming players, right? Sniper being a young player. We've seen Darkwings in Academy before, but looking to reclaim it. Yeah, still good, looking to reclaim a spot there. But then you look over on the other side, Immortals Progressive are this team that I dub the truly counter logic gaming team because you never know what to expect from them. Sometimes they can show up today and you're just like, what are they doing? What's going on? And other days they look like the best team around. You're like, oh my god, this team's amazing. Like last split, they got top 4 when everyone's like, they'll get knocked out right away. And they were able to get an upset against CLG Academy, the #1 seed at the time, to continue forward. So I look at this and say, it's hard for me to predict purely because Immortals Progressive are hard to predict.
I will say that they have been hard to predict. The big change from spring to summer is, of course, in that top lane. So I want to start by chatting a little bit about kind of what we expect for players that will be most impactful here. I think top lane will be important, but starting with 100 Thieves next, we're actually going to look at Fnatic. As a player, we want to highlight the jungle role here because I kind of teased it even in the last series beatdown. Fnatic is one of these players that I think is ready to make that leap and make that jump up back into Academy.
Yeah, and if you've been watching any of the qualifiers, this split, last split, whatever, as long as Fnatic, even last year when he was playing on Resolve, he has been one of the top performing junglers, and it's been even more the case this year. Granted, he's on a very good team, but he's a big part of this team's success, and at this point, we're just beating a dead horse. Like, this man should be in Academy, and it is just unreal that he hasn't gotten there just yet. But I mean, at this point, like, this is part of what I like about Proving Grounds. It's like, all right, I'm not an Academy, I'll just beat all the Academy teams. So we'll see if 100 Next can actually do that.
Hey, and fun fact, back when Fnatic was on Resolve, he got knocked out in the Proving Grounds by Immortals Academy.
Oh, that is interesting.
Also, you see, he has played 4 splits in Academy. He has had opportunities in the past, but I definitely think that he's at that level. But how is he going to be contained by Immortals Progressive? If we look at their mid-jungle combination and how they've been playing, Chad and Pretty Magical, what do you think the odds are here? Do you think that this is a mid-jungle duo that can contain Fnatic?
Well, remember how just a couple seconds ago I said that when we look at Immortals, this team is either the best looking team or they're just kind of there. And when they look their best is when it's around Pretty and Chat. Those two players, I think, are going to be the successful marks for Immortals and whether or not they're going to win this series. They play so well around one another, trying to make sure they're playing aggressively. Like when Pretty is set up on things like Talia and can move around the map with Chad is always when you tend to see the best performances out of every one of Immortals, because they can always just rely on the mid-jungle duo being something that will be a cornerstone and just a huge crutch for them to rely on every time.
It's where Immortals get a lot of their wins. When we look in the past, it will be impactful seeing that how that matches up against Fnatic.
But and Dark Wings.
It honestly feels like every lane you can look at with this matchup, and there is something to talk about because we still haven't even gotten to the lane that we wanted to highlight the most, which is actually in the bottom lane. When we look at players like Joey as the support from Immortals Academy, he's got a long history in the scene. As also, he's great on camera, by the way. Fantastic to work with. He's played at MSI. He's played technically at the LCS stage as well. 7 Academy splits. Joey is a constant, consistent performer at this level of play. And just the amount of experience that he's bringing against the bot lane 400 beatdown, it's like not even comparable.
So the interesting thing too about 100 Thieves bot lane is we have Sword, and I mean, as most of the great supports in NA, they are roles, at least outside the LCS, they are role swaps. Sword was previously a mid laner. I believe it was for TSM Academy.
It was.
And now he
Joey's
swapped
like
over.
that last gen. Joey's the last generation of like actual support names before
exactly.
Now we're the new gen of everyone's role swapping.
And that's the thing, it's kind of like the future is now old man kind of deal if you really think about it here. And the thing interesting too, since we're talking about the bot lane, is Lens for the side of 100 Next. He is a player who on more than one occasion, I've talked to both Mist and Fnatic about what's the story on Lens? How did you bring this guy in? How do you feel about how he's been performing? And both have said to me more than once that they believe that Lens surprised them. They knew they were kind of taking a chance on a player like this, knew he was mechanically good, but weren't sure how well he was going to fit within the team. And they're actually quite happy with how well he's been playing this split. And I got to say, like, I agree with that. I think he's been actually a pretty solid rock in the bottom lane, especially for a team like 100 Next, who more play away from that side of the map, especially when you got a top side like Fnatic, Dark Wings, and Sniper.
And Lens was a solo queue pickup, right? I believe that's how they scouted him.
Something like that. I think he's played... you know what it was? Before it was Deep Learn, who now became Wixie on AoE Ginger Turmeric, Lens was actually going to be the AD carry for AoE Ginger Turmeric for Proving Grounds.
Okay,
qualifier.
interesting.
Yeah, fun fact.
Awesome to hear the story of all the players and how they got to their positions as well. But with that said, that's a matchup, that's a stakes. Another amateur team having an opportunity to continue in the lower bracket, may be favored in this matchup, but you never know when it comes to Immortals Progressive. These players consistently find a way to grind it out and get to the top levels. Big and Ban is ready, so Magical Beatdown, take it away.
Thank you so much, Kangas. We'll see you on the other side, but we got to get ready for our second best of 3 of the day, our last one of the day, in fact. We'll have more tomorrow, so make sure you stay around for that as well. Or stay, just keep the Twitch channel open the whole time. Don't close it.
Never close it.
Never close it.
Don't turn off your computer.
Yeah, don't turn off the computer. Make sure you favorite the page or bookmark the page too, just in case something happens. You don't want to lose it, right?
No, of course not. What we can't let that happen, Magical. No. So I'm really glad that we're letting people know what they need to be doing so they can follow every single minute fraction of Proving Grounds. Because what else was the point otherwise?
Exactly. And speaking of minute details, we're in a 2 champion select here. We already have the Wukong and Poppy banned away by Immortals, taking away 2 of the really powerful picks we've seen for Fnatic as well. Someone who's been playing the Poppy very well. Wukong has pretty much been one of those mainstays with how he engages with that champion. I'm not too surprised to see that, but I am a little bit more surprised to see the Lissandra ban coming in so early for Immortals.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting pickup there. It could be that they're expecting Dark Wings to go for, or they want Pretty to go for something like all-in type of champion like LeBlanc. The thing that's most interesting to me is seeing the Wukong and the Poppy taken away and leaving up the Trundle makes me wonder if they are trying to see if Fnatic will pick up the Viego, because that's also something he has played a lot of and had a lot of success in. And I mean, Trundle just being that natural answer is something that Immortals Progressive might be playing for, because we know Fnatic, one of the best junglers we have in Amateur, is great at facilitating. So when it comes to early facilitators, maybe they want to try and set him behind in draft.
Beatdown, you were right. It is the LeBlanc picked really early for Pretty here, but without the Lissandra, not as threatened. Still looking at what Darkwings can play, though. He does have quite a deep champion pool that he can provide for the team. But with the trade of taking that LeBlanc so early, they leave open some of the powerful picks that we have in the meta right now. Sivir, despite getting some touches of nerfs on the recent patch, has been taken out, but this Fiora.
Okay,
Sniper. And I expect the Zeri, because that was also something kind of indicated with the Lissandra.
Yumi?
It's probably Zeri Yumi, but the Fiora pick, I just got to look at that, because
that... It's like surely you knew the surely you knew not picking Sivir Yumi immediately left that one open. So there could be that answer coming through for 100 Thieves next. But either way, you have what was oh my god, I was thinking about it. Is it really the Vice support? Is it the base? Tell me Sword is playing it. Maybe either way. It works in either hands, but this is literally like the Skytech answer like we were talking about in the last series. But it's a great pickup regardless, because of the fact that we said it in the last series. When you're using cease and desist, you cannot be CC'd, you are unstoppable. So it makes it possible to not only bypass the front line, lock down people like Yumi, like Zeri, who are very, very slippery.
Right, and that's actually kind of why I like that Vi pick. And I do expect it to be for
It's a flex.
I think it's a flex. I think it would make a lot of sense putting that. We've seen the Sivir and Vi lane work out pretty well into Sivir Yumi as well. I wouldn't be surprised if teams had taken lessons that they had learned from AoE and been like, let's practice this. Let's get some scrims under our belt with this champion, how it's going to perform. But then we have to look at the next part of the draft. I know we want to focus on the Vi so much, but we have to look at what else will be picked up for both teams, because Rengar and Trundle both being banned by 100 next. And this is where I'm going to throw out a wild prediction. It's either going to be a very tame prediction for Chad in a Lee Sin, or he's setting up a Kha'Zix angle.
Well, that could be interesting. I like that Immortals are banning away things like Vex, has seen little to no play, but still kind of ruins LeBlanc's laning phase. I think I like Lee Sin, since you're bringing up jungle for Chad, just because of the fact that it did get buffed. It does seem a little bit better. Oh, okay. And so it is the Lulu bot. But the Lee Sin I like, because LeBlanc Lee Sin really strong early on. Really good at skirmishing, which I think is what you want, because we talked about how impactful both teams' mid jungles are going to be. You have LeBlanc Lee Sin able to kind of get you through that early mid game, while Zeri Yumi are just chilling in the bot lane. I think that's perfect for how Immortals like to play.
And looking at what they draft, Jarvan seems to be the one that they want to go for, something that Chad has played a bit, but still not exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting more like the Lee Sin, but it does play for that early level, the early aggression that Chad tends to go for, being the premier level 3 gank jungler, invades right away, tries to see what kind of plays they can set up for the team, and not get invaded in by these hovers this time. I was looking at some of them like, those would be interesting, but the Gnar is the one that's kind of the classic right now.
I like that one a lot. And the J4 pick is nice because of the fact that you got a lot of people who are very immobile on the side of 100 Thieves next, especially the Sivir. You will have the Lulu, but the fact is that Cataclysm can isolate you and can set up the LeBlanc and the rest of the members of Immortals to get on top of people. I like that. I like the answer of Sylas for Darkwings, because not only is it a common answer into LeBlanc, we saw it from Triple last series, also the fact that you do a little cataclysmicking of your own onto someone like Arrow, Pretty, anyone here. So Darkwings has a lot of opportunity to be able to go big this game, and so does Fnatic. It will be him piloting the Vi, and Vi, level 3, just like J4, is immediately where things start to happen. I imagine it's going to be a topside angle probably for the earlier parts of the game, just because you have that Fiora for Sniper, which he blinded, by the way. I think we touched on that. And it's just a specialty pick.
Touched on it, but it's like, the thing is, it's a specialty pick for Sniper. We also kind of look at how 100 Thieves themselves as an organization look at Fiora. You talked to Tenacity on 100 Thieves Academy. It's like, Fiora is 100% blind pickable. Though I think that there have been more picks that have kind of slowly come into the meta that have made it less likely to see. But the fact that you still have Sniper, have that confidence to lock in Fiora blind up against Vital on Gnar for our first game of our second best of 3 for for this week 3 of the Proving Grounds. And everyone on Immortals, it looks like they watched the last game and they want to replicate it.
That they do, Magical. And I think we just got to talk about really quick what everyone's playing for here. We're the lower bracket. 1 life remaining for both of these teams. And we could potentially, despite everyone's favoritism towards 100X, say goodbye to another amateur team. And then at that point, we'd only have AoE Ginger Turmeric left, right?
That would be it. That would be the last one. AoE, 100 Thieves next, and AoE Ginger Turmeric were our last 3, and 1 has fallen. Here could be our second team to fall second team of today for the amateur circuit, which means only 1 team would remain, or we can have 100 Thieves do as been prophesized and take down Immortals Progressive to make them one of 2 academy teams that have fallen.
Now as things slow back down, or I mean, continue to be slow, I should say. Getting the idea of what these junglers want to do early on. As expected, Fnatic, starting bot, is going to be playing for that top side of the map. Sniper, I mean, this is how they like to play. Sniper being that player who, I mean, let's be real. 2022 has just been the Sniper waiting room, and finding out in spring that he was as good as advertised was probably one of the most exciting parts of Amateur this year, Magical. The fact that he's just been as insane as all the solo queue hype has gotten him around. And the fact that 100X play around him so well is part of why they find so much success.
Also, the familial hype that he has. Being the brother of Viper, being the brother of Crimson, a mid lane player in Amateur as well. There's a lot that is in that family gene pool that just makes him really good at League of Legends, it seems.
Riven 1 tricks, too, at the beginning. It's kind of crazy. I remember an interview where Viper talked about how him and his brothers would all practice 1v1ing each other. And it'd be like a whole thing and jokes and stuff about how it's like, I beat you more than this many times. Great.
Level 2 experience lead was won out by Arrow and Joey in the bot lane. So they're able to get a good amount of poke back onto Lens and Sword, but they'll be fine. Same here in mid lane. You see that it's initially pretty, getting a good little bit of a lead over Darkwings, but there's a pretty fat minion wave that is frozen right outside of turret aggro. It's probably more going to be broken up by when someone like Fnatic or even Chad tries to pay a visit.
Right now, thinking about early objectives here too, both of these teams have a lot of early skirmishing power. I think that's the most interesting thing about why this bot lane matchup early on is impactful, because we've seen in series after series, getting these bot lane leads is something you can translate to an early Rift Herald. And I think both of these teams could very well look to do just that. Because when you have mid-jungle duels that can skirmish, I mean, granted, Darkwings will need a little more time. Being able to get that first rotation and set up for Rift Herald, I think is going to be important for both of these teams.
As you can see right now, Chad gone for a bit of an unorthodox clear. He got both his buffs pretty early on, but then full cleared the top side of the map so he could go grab that Scuttle Crab. Now he's looking to get the second Scuttle Crab of the game in the bot lane, fully controlling Fnatic in the early onset of the game, and with both junglers being fairly aggressive in the early stages of the game, gotta favor Chad for now.
Right, I mean, granted, first Scuttle, not nearly as worth as it used to be in the past.
Hey, but it's still a double
nice
Scuttle, double Scuttle.
I think the thing that matters more is the vision, if I'm being real. Because I swear it's like, it's worth the XP of a caster, and like, Magic, I'm not going to tell you how little that is, do I?
I'm a support player.
Oh, I see. So you'll take whatever you can get. I apologize, sir. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to bring up your pain.
Yeah. This is why I always say supports get the kills, because we need something. Anything, please.
Can I have some more?
Please, sir. Can I have some more? And then the answer is always no. You sit there and you put wards down. I'm like, okay. But then I play Vigar and I take the kills anyways. So now in this game, I'm just going to skip over what I just said. Look at where we're already seeing some movements. And it's actually from the supports initially. Joey already hanging around this mid lane. Wall Sword doing the same thing. They were hoping that Fnatic was going to be able to find an angle on to Pretty with Darkwings, like right there with a good trade of damage. But Pretty's playing this one pretty standard. Playing it pretty safe and not going too far out.
And the vision game is good. It's so good that Fnatic and Darkwing. Oh, he's stunned up.
Oh, he got Joe. Flash in from Sword, looking to see if he can get the polymorph. He does. Onto the cat. Joey kiting back.
A little more damage.
But Joey's barely alive. No!
They got him.
Chain slash will take him down as Chad, followed up by Darkwing.
Beautiful.
The turret. Pretty. He wants to get at least something back for the team, but knows there is no way in hell he can.
Okay, so there's a lot to talk about here. I think the biggest thing is that the reason Vi is great into Yuumi, as people probably know, if you CC her in any way, I'm talking hard CC, immobilize, she cannot mount a friendly champion for 5 seconds. Her W goes on a cooldown. And that vision, allowing them to catch out Joey, who has a Yuumi, it is really dangerous for you to be roaming like this in the river, even with your jungler nearby, means the perfect catch out comes through, and it's just free real estate for 100 Thieves next.
The fact they get 2 kills off this play as well. It's a double kill for Darkwings on Sylas, something that is already starting to get scary, and once he hits level 6, as he's about to soon, can steal away some pretty impactful ults. You called out the Cataclysm before, but I'm looking at that Gnar ult. It's such a big tool that Sylas can utilize.
Right, and I mean, it's when that hijack is off cooldown, it's a little easier for him to utilize because there is no rage bar for him to worry about. Oh my God, Darkwings!
Darkwings almost was able to solo. Yeah, and Chad's here, but I think Darkwings should have probably taken him. Yeah, he could have probably taken him 1v2.
And this is just insane pressure coming through from the mid of 100X. We talked about it, mid jungle, big impact in this game, and it's already coming through from one of the best teams we have in Amateur here. Darkwing's a player coming up from, I believe it was Dignitas Academy. I remember a legendary Cassiopeia base defense from last split. I know you do, Magical.
Oh yeah, I know it all too well. Now he's able to play
he's just playing as well. Yeah, he's playing as well now too.
That's kind of why I was wondering what he was going to pick. It was going to be the Sylas or the Cassiopeia, just to go for some style points, but the
Imagine.
Yeah, exactly. But the Sylas makes a lot of sense here, and you can see why he's picked it. The power that you can have in these early stages of the game, especially when you can fall back on someone like Fnatic, finding these aggressive plays, finding these picks to set up the team early on.
Right, again, Fnatic being that player, such a good facilitator for the rest of his lanes. He's able to always find these openings here. We're seeing it again in this game. Already the early lead comes through. So far, not a whole lot else is going on. Now, with Rift Herald coming up, that's pretty much what we got to set our sights on right now. Darkwings, a big lead in the mid lane. It's going to play a big difference in this fight if 100X choose to go for it. And with their bot lane resetting, that could be an instant move right now. And maybe IMT not even bothering with it because, well, we're 15 seconds out. Chad is walking away, and you can see Arrow's just walking his way to the bot side.
They might look for the dragon instead. No, they can't. It's 30 minutes away. What am I talking about? So I'm kind of just looking at what Immortals can do to try to get themselves back in the game, and it almost seems like they understand that they're not in a position that they can really fight back just yet. They just got to get the scraps of gold where they can.
Right, and I'm glad actually looking at the XP here for Fnatic. He's close to level 6. I think the red buff might get it for him because that's going to be really important if the fight ends up coming through. Again, the assault and the cease and desist, being able to, yeah, there you go. He's ticked over, has the ult, could easily make a play top lane because once you're locked on, even if you flash, he's still coming, Magical.
Yeah, exactly. But look where Chad is. Chad is going to be on that same side of the map. Arrow, kind of by him lonesome here around the Dragon Pit, but with nothing to play for. Should be hovering around a mid lane, just in case they want to turn for that fight around the objective, or can find a pick on Sword by himself, getting a little bit of damage, but a little worried that Lens, with that Ghost available, can easily rotate up soon to save him. As Chad chases away Fnatic and should lock down control of the Rift Herald.
Yeah, this is tough. It's going to be a 2 versus 3. Sniper's on his way down, though, to even things up.
Sniper's
but this is going to be
first
tough.
That's why I don't think you even want to fight it if you're 100 Thieves next. You'll let that go, but now Sniper in the pit should be able to dodge over the wall. Pretty safe there, missing the chains as well, with Arrow being the first one on the call from the bot lane to show up. They'll all relent control, with the Rift Herald being in the pocket of Chad.
I'm surprised. I thought 100X would certainly be the ones more interested and capable of picking that one up. But as soon as Darkwings took the Mimic from Pretty, I was less sure because you ideally want to be stealing the Gnar ultimate. But if you let that one go, you don't lose anything in the process. And now, this is where the next few minutes really matter for 100X. If they get this kill onto Sniper, this would be huge because they'd be able to very easily... Oh, this is the thing, man. This is what I want to talk about with this guy. He's so good at reading what enemy junglers want to do. He knows top is the play because of how important a player like Sniper is. And because nothing's happened at this amount of time, he knows he can just back off. Like, insane game sense.
But it is still going to be Chad, I think, with the better play all the while. Because that was a lot of time committed for both junglers, but with empowered recall for Jarvan. He can go back, get the iron
That's true.
spike whip, and then also get himself that Caulfield's Warhammer. So now he's in a good position to kind of rotate around and probably look for a play, I'd imagine, in the bot lane.
Yeah, true. And at that point, it's looking like Chad was just there to make sure Vital could get the recall off, get the wave shoved in, and it means that bot lane could also be another angle for this Rift Herald. The point is, you want to be snowballing one of your lanes, and why not be the Zeri Yuumi, man?
Oh, yeah.
So with him pathing towards that bottom side, that's the thing to look for. But it can be turned around. Sword is about to get the wild growth. Fnatic is on his way to the bottom side, but with Pretty being out of lane, surely they know what time it is.
They do, and that's why they back off, falling back towards Fnatic, so they don't have to worry about that play happening anytime soon. Chad looks like he wants to protect Pretty, but he's got the flag and drag.
There it is!
With the cease and desist, so he gets blown up. Arrow, he's got damage, looking to see if he can take down one. They got the kill on the sword, but the flash away. Now they've got the lightning
Final
grab.
chapter.
A little bit of damage with the final chapter doing a lot of work as well. Fnatic's got to be careful. Look at the damage. The flash in Arrow, dodging over the wall with that exhaust that slowed down Darkwings for now, but he's still in the ult. Looks to get in, and there's the
there it
lightning
is!
crash. Killing spree for Darkwings with one more. No, they don't chase down that final kill. Instead, we turn our attention to the top lane, with Vital getting chased away by Sniper, and the Sniper gaining control of the top lane.
That play overall, so big. Nice recognition from Darkwings, and I mean the rest of Fnatic to realize, oh hey, we definitely have a play here as soon as Pretty misses those ethereal chains. And now, Darkwings, 3-0-1, and we're going to see how this one breaks out. Again, you called it. Cease and desist means exactly that, Chad. You cannot move. You're under arrest, and they take him out. And even though Sword gets taken out in the background, realistically, the fact that they pick up Arrow in this play also is a big deal because it ends up being that 2-for-1, and even if Joey walks away, the damage is done.
The damage is done, and I also like this, the fact that barely clips that minion that was nearly
Dude, it
low to
didn't
health.
look like it. That's just crazy big.
It's the lollipop you get at the end. Just that little bit of a hitbox that barely connected onto the minion, and because the minion was so close to death anyways, it killed the minion but still pulled him.
Yeah, now it's Dragon on the board here. 100X got the first one. They want to play for the second one, but worth noting, no major ults are available. Chad has the Cataclysm.
Chad does have that available. Didn't use it last time. Cease and desist still on cooldown for Fnatic. Do they read the call though? It's 50-50, getting low. Chad trying to see if he can defend this. Will be stolen away by Fnatic though. Fnatic, he is the king of the jungle.
And there it is. Chad has to flash away, slink away here, and the only real thing he can get back is the few plays that this Herald is going to take. No real threat to the turret. In the fact of no first brick is going down. Oh my god, wait, are you kidding me? Did they just take it down?
Oh, I think final chapter's committed. They want to do everything to make sure it gets
Fnatic is ult.
but now cease and desist with the Cataclysm that was stolen away.
And they catch out Chad. No Herald, no problem for 100 Thieves next. And they just continue to take control of this early game here. Again, it's Fnatic who's at every play.
Fnatic has been on point in this game, and where I first thought the one play, it was beneficial to Chad, buying a lot of the time of Fnatic. Since then, he has read every single play like a book from Chad.
He's reading them like the morning paper. He's reading them like a video game walkthrough after you failed the same dungeon 16 times in a row. Just
or is it like when you fail to learn how to jump dash? What's the famous Cuphead meme?
Because of that interviewer who did reviewer who didn't know how to jump.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. It's just like didn't read the prompt, but Fnatic is clearly reading this prompt. He has got himself pretty set up. He's got Darkwings in a great position. Darkwings has 100% kill participation in this game.
That's true.
So I'm now looking to see what Immortals can do after this. They are pretty far behind in the game. Not actually that far behind. It's only 14.5 minutes into the game. If they can secure the next dragon, it could give them a little bit of breathing room because they do have good scaling still on their team and still a very good team fight composition.
Breathing room is definitely needed, Magical, because Soul Point for Ocean Soul would just be such a brutal spot for IMT to be in if 100 Next were able to pick up that next dragon. But I like the focus on the top side instead. You didn't get first Herald, but you can make a play for the second one here. And honestly, there's an opportunity for a mid play too.
Okay. That was the flash burn by Lens just to get away from that Cataclysm, but also using Spell Shield to not take any damage from it. Won't be forced out of the play just yet with another Rift Herald spawning up. But this time, Immortals, not only do they want to grab it, they need to grab it and make it worth it.
I don't think they have the opportunity. No Cataclysm, no final chapter. You're not in a position to actually fight it out here. And it's worth noting, Fnatic has cease and desist magical. So if Arrow is not careful, he's going to get caught up immediately. But now, because Fnatic can just queue over the wall, they don't actually see that he is on it. And either way, they couldn't do anything about it either. So much of this early game is going in favor of 100 Thieves next.
They got themselves that Herald that was coveted by Immortals, that needed that in order to make sure that they can bounce back somewhat in this game. This will continue to snowball the lead out of control for 100 Thieves next, and this is seeming like the predictions, the prophecies. It's true that Amateur might be able to retain 2 teams in the tournament.
It's looking like that so far, but game 1 isn't over yet. Next step for 100 next, likely, my guess is they'll hold the Herald until Dragon spawns in a minute 30, because it is their sole point. You drop that mid, you get yourself the first look at the Dragon, and you walk away with your Ocean Soul point. And on IMT's end, Immortals Progressive Magical, the big thing you want to be playing for, I mean, you have a Jarvan, you have a LeBlanc, champions that can pretty easily get past frontline and jump onto your AD carry. And that's Lens. Flashless right now because of that mid lane play, and won't have it for the Dragon fight. That's IMT's way to get around it.
Also, we haven't even gotten to see the potential wombo combo of a Jarvan Gnar, where you jump in, have the free wall wherever you want to place it, and then the Gnar all into the wall. There'll be some time until we see that. With 2,500 gold separating the 2 teams and 2 dragons, 100 Thieves are the ones firmly in control, and you can see where that gold has been allocated for the most part. You have 1,000 gold lead for Fnatic over Chad, but the big ones have to be in the solo lanes.
That they do. I mean, Pretty, we're seeing it, isn't too far behind. And as LeBlanc, even if you are a little behind the enemy mid, as long as you're doing on pace with the enemy bot, I mean, you're an AD carry. You still pop like a balloon. So Pretty's still going to have a lot of use this game. As long as you get the spell shield out of the way. Oh my god, Darkwings.
Charge.
Just doesn't care.
No, he doesn't. He's pretty tanky at this point too, having Everfrost already completed. Now with all 5 of both teams stacked up around this Dragon, the soul point potential for 100 Thieves next to continue to escalate this game out of control for IMT. You can tell that IMT know what this play means, that if they forfeit this now, they forfeit all control over the map, and that's why they're all grouped here. Maybe even looking to see if they can get a pick on a Darkwings, taking a lot of damage on the other side. Chad wanted it, but Fnatic is going to be the one to make a call. Looking for Vital.
Vital's low. Nice Gnar ulti. Another.
They've taken out 1. The ADC is gone. Arrow can pop off. He's got 2. You got to get more. Looking for Sniper, but Sniper is on top of him. Darkwings comes back up. Kingslayer, not enough. The damage is in for Arrow. Triple kill for Arrow, and it all seemed perfect for 100 Thieves next. But you can never underestimate Immortals Progressive in team fights.
And honestly, Vital deserves so much praise for that play. They try to burst him down before he can go mega, but it wasn't quick enough. And even Darkwings, with his stolen Gnar ulti, wasn't able to make it happen. Now Arrow gets 3 kills, is playing out of his mind, and that's another player formerly playing in North American Amateur. Of course, this man has played at the highest levels of play, but last year, he spent a split on Wildcard Red Magical, same team as Winnie, top 6 in Proving Grounds, and now with the Immortals Academy, he's trying to get back there.
Trying to get back to that same spot, and honestly, like you said, props out to Vital. He has been kind of silent in this game, and a lot of people have given him criticisms throughout this tournament, but that was a beautiful Gnar ult with 3 members that split up the fight and allowed Arrow to kite back so well.
Yeah, and the fact that Lens didn't have Flash came back to bite him, like we were talking about there. So that's a much-needed bit of breathing room. You're still behind as Immortals Progressive, but Dragon is yours. 100X do not have soul point, so you need to keep that up. Trying to focus Lens and get him out of team fights is how you win it out, as long as you keep getting space for Arrow.
I feel like we're about to have another close series on our hands, even if the last one was a 2-0. That first game, the 47-minute banger. I feel like we might have something similar happen here between 100 Thieves next and Immortals Progressive Academy.
And now, Chad pairing up with Joey to see what kind of vision that they can get here. And wait, in case something breaks out, I have a fun fact. Okay, nothing's gonna
Okay,
happen.
fun fact.
A
Give me
fun
fun
fact. Chad played for 100 Thieves Next last year
Uh-huh.
before he moved on to Academy.
Uh-huh.
And then Fnatic came to fill in those shoes.
Do you
That
know
is
what
my
Chad
fun
did?
fact.
What did Chad do after that?
Chad went to 100 Thieves Academy with Gamsu, and
And?
they went on to win Proving Grounds.
There we go. That's
Yeah.
So you have not only the person that is filling the slot that was vacated by Chad when he would go on to win 2021 Summer Proving Grounds, but
That's
now
right.
you're facing off against each other where it is a do or die situation. Chad, he's got this Jarvan and hasn't really been able to make the plays. My mind's still on the last time the Draven got picked. But here in this game, we need to see how he can pair up with Pretty, because Pretty has been finding these angles for the team alongside with Arrow.
2-0.
But really, it is about Chad's engages, and if he's able to make those plays work out, they can easily follow up like they did with Vital.
Yeah, we're seeing it now. Lens has the flashback up.
Oh.
Sniper. Hold that thought.
Sniper, you're going for the dive underneath the turret, but that was well played by Vital, understanding the champion. That is his namesake after all the Vital points of Fiora, so he knows that champion inside and out.
Yeah, really nicely done. You get the grand challenge out, but it does mean he's pressured out, and Sniper is able to do what Fiora does best, split push, take turrets, and get that extra gold for himself to make him that much more of a split push monster later. Without him, top laners out of the picture. 100 Next are losing out in that pressure in the mid lane to be able to set up vision here, but right now it's okay. Baron probably not on the table for anybody just yet.
No, I think both teams are waiting those 2 minutes out until the next dragon spawns, with how important it is for Immortals to deny that to 100 Thieves Next. I always talk about the soul point potential being just as strong as getting the soul itself, because how much control it gives you on the map, and know that you are going to be the ones pulling the pup strings of your opponent.
Now as things slow back down, 100 Next, again, need this next dragon. That is the biggest thing that they're playing for at the moment here. They have a slight gold advantage, but we saw what happens if Lens is taken out of the picture. Luckily, Lens has both his summoner spells magical. That's the most important thing. You see Fnatic, I like this, Fnatic and Darkwings on this top side of the map, seeing what pressure Darkwings can get. It isn't going to be enough to get the turret, but whoa, we got to play.
Looking for the play. Stolen Mimic there, getting a little bit of damage back.
Teleport.
Pretty, but they got it. Wait,
okay, Darkwings.
Solo Darkwings. What a play with the TV coming in from Sniper. Now they don't have the Meganor. They got Cease and Desist.
Arrow's also here.
Arrow's going to be on a rampage. It's up to Arrow, the legend from SKT. He can turn it around. Sorry, not SKT. KT. He's going to be the one that you have to focus on in these fights. Is he getting so much damage? Chad taking a kill for himself off a Fnatic Sniper. The next casualty underneath this turret. Sword barely shows up in time to save everyone's life.
Wow, that was a close one, but IMT managed to at least get something in return. Arrow able to dash over the wall, but it's still 100X who walk away with a lot of gold from this exchange, and you can see it come through here. Darkwings, Solo Bolo gets the shutdown onto Pretty, and with the other teleports coming through, it means that you have a fairly even fight, especially with Stasis to buy time for you. The big thing here, look at the minimap. 100X did not have their 80 carry for most of this exchange, and despite Fnatic, Sniper, and Darkwing's best attempts, it is just too hard to deal with Arrow once the lightning crash comes through.
Yeah, you can just see how easy it is for him to chase down, force back 100 Thieves Next towards their turret. But with all that was committed to the top lane for both teams, now it means that 100 Thieves Next, the team that was first on the map, have control over the Dragon Pit, and they're forcing the hand of Immortals Progressive. They don't have that lightning crash this
Snipers
time
on the
around.
flank.
They don't have that flank potential that they can utilize. They don't even have Chad ready with the Cataclysm just yet. It is on 100 Thieves with everything available besides on the hunt that they can utilize with the Dragon down to 50%. They are
Fnatic wins these.
both looking for this. They both need this so bad so they can gain control of the game. But who's going to secure the smite?
Oh, he doesn't miss!
He does not miss, but he will miss his life as he is slain by Pretty with the rest of 100 Thieves Next, understanding they got the prize they were after.
Still, they have another prize they might be able to play for. No Fnatic for 30 seconds here, and you can see it. IMT grouped up, moving up towards the top side. It could be
TPs.
the Baron on the board, exactly. No teleport. Sniper and Darkwings have to deal with the honey fruit. Thank you, Ocean Rift. And I love this from Pretty. If someone goes around behind the wall, he can pop somebody like Lens. That's all it
They're
takes.
taking it really fast too. It's getting burned down, but there's still healthy members on the side of the 100 Thieves next.
Perfect.
The pathing is there. They look to get Darkwing's in. He's
Flash.
the Gnarl. He uses it onto Chad, but the damage is there from Pretty on the other side to look to take down Storm, but he couldn't do it. Chad flying.
Lens is here. Lens is big.
Can he do it? Arrow, get the damage down onto these members, but like you said, it is all on Lens. Still alive. They stopped the Baron from being taken, and they themselves will go and try to take it.
Because now Chad, look who's out of the picture. Vital and Chad. No smite in favor for IMT. They turn it around. Darkwings, he's perfectly fine. It's just going to be Lens and Fnatic as IMT progressive. They try to stop the Baron take.
I think that they still have that fight left in them. Down to 25% health, but Pretty, he looked for the assassination on the sword.
Oh, the chains, he got him.
Last time, but this time he does. The Baron is secured by 100 Thieves next, as Pretty should be able to distortion his way out of it, only denying one player of 100 next from having the Baron.
I'll tell you what, Magical, that is paltry compared to what 100 Next have gotten for themselves here. Not only do they turn around that situation where they were about to lose the Baron because Fnatic fell down, they stalled, they team fought well, and they bought enough time for their jungler to come back and secure the Baron for themselves. Now objective bounties are up, and despite how fed Arrow is, the rest of Immortals just can't be keeping up, and you can see it here. Wow, that is a big difference in gold, but look across the map. Everyone else on the side of IMT are on life support.
Right, they're all behind their opponents. Only one that is ahead is Arrow. This is pretty much Arrow against the world, the KT ADC of legend. Player who's got quite the history to his name, even in the Proving Grounds itself, being the team, part of the team that was wildcard red last split that knocked down Resolve into the lower bracket that had Fnatic on it. There's still a lot that is on the line for these teams when it comes to the history that they look to create now.
And even if we just look at right now, the present Magical, the fact is we're in that lower bracket. Both teams are fighting for their Proving Grounds lives here. And both fighting to take first blood in this series. So far, it's looking like that first blood will belong to Amateur, but Immortals Progressive, they still have chances that they can play for their AD carry. And remember, Lens doesn't have flash. The last fight IMT won is when they were able to take down this Sivir and reduce drastically the damage 100x could output.
Plus the fact that they aren't necessarily losing control of these lanes. They're wave clear, pretty much doing well, especially out of Pretty. But I'm just waiting to see how 100 Thieves can battle against that, how they can crack the defenses of Immortals.
It's... honestly, a lot of it is going to be with Sniper on the side lane. You can see it on the bottom side. He's already being that split push threat. We're still a minute 30 from Dragon. Somebody will have to deal with him. And the Baron buff makes it that much more potent for his ability to split. Now, he's just going to go ahead and recall. Things slow down a little bit here as Immortals Progressive. They're at a point where they may have to just go for a play in the side lane. Commit a lot of members to Sniper when there isn't any major objective to play for here. I think that's why you see him back off.
Well, I think it's only about like 30, 40 seconds left on the Baron buff remaining for 100 Thieves next as well. So they fall back, not gaining too much of a foothold back against Immortals Progressive, who are now themselves on the hunt, understanding resets are coming through from 100 next, utilizing the empowered recalls while they still have them.
Yeah, I like this play. Using this opportunity and the fact they have Vital pushing the bottom lane just to get a little bit of vision down here. Pretty with Joey in tow can potentially make that big move here. Lens will not have flash for this team fight, but I like the move, and 100 next, they're just full sending.
They spotted out Pretty with Joey on his back. That's why they went for the full send, but now they are the ones trying to see if they can peel back towards the Dragon. They now realize, wait a minute, we're caught between a rock and a hard place. Who's going to be the one to find the pick first, Immortals or 100 Thieves? Both of them setting up, and with Vital using that blue trinket, we'll spot out the fan. He's been hanging out in that brush.
And this is tough. You hope you're getting rid of this Dragon because you're okay letting it go with the lead you have. 100 next, though, wanting to see if they can make that play onto Vital, but instead...
Pretty gets spotted out. Nice use of distortion to get away. The Dragon now spawning. Sniper on the flank. Look at where Vital is. Nowhere near the battle. So they turn their attention onto the top lane. Look to see if they can take down Sniper. He's taking a lot of damage on top of it as well. But
oh my god!
He's still alive!
He's still alive!
The wild growth on a Sniper to make sure they take down 100 Thieves on the fight against Immortals. 100 Thieves come out on top. Only Vital the surviving member.
Sniper was the bait and IMT bit hook, line, and sinker magical. That's 30-second spawn timers. Maybe not the game, but even more gold in the best team in Amateur's favor here as they are knocking on IMT's doors. No, never mind. They're looking for it all. They have a wave.
Vital, the only surviving member, threw himself into the battle. 100 Thieves next, the #1 team from Amateur, taking down another Academy squad here in Game 1, and are one step closer from knocking out our second Academy team.
And what a wonderful first performance from 100 Thieves next magical. Insanely well played from this squad, especially Darkwings and Fnatic. We highlighted the mid-jungle duo of both of these teams, and Fnatic and Darkwings are just better on the day. Darkwings especially just getting the better of Pretty in every conceivable way and situation. It was just insane to watch.
I mean, really, Darkwings right on the onset, getting those early kills. Sniper doing well in the side lanes as well. It was really difficult to see ways that Immortals can come back into the game outside of Arrow, and just fell a little short. 100 Thieves next take Game 1, but it is a best of 3 series. So we're going to toss a break. When we come back, we'll have our halftime show as we get ready for Game 2.